Many married couples choose to file their taxes jointly to take advantage of tax breaks like the earned income and childcare credits. However, there may be instances where it's more financially beneficial for married couples to actually file separately. Here now to kind of wade us through all of this, I don't want to call it a mess, but I mean, it is tax code. Alicia Jegede with New Gen Financial Planning, it's accounting firm. First question, when might it be best for couples to file separately?
So there are a couple of, in my practice, there's a couple of instances where I see couples filing separately. One of those would be if they have very large out-of-pocket medical expenses.
Okay.
Another would be if a taxpayer is on an income-driven student loan repayment plan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and also if there's financial infidelity in the relationship, a taxpayer may want to file separately.
Now, what do you mean by financial infidelity?
Well, that means that there's lack of trust. There might be potential for unreported income, potential for debts that the taxpayer may not know about. So they would want to make sure that to shield themselves from the liability, because joint returns are basically the responsibility of both taxpayers.
Because if one spouse gets in trouble, but they file jointly, then both of them get in trouble.
Yeah, it's expected that you would understand what's going on with your spouse if you're filing a joint return.
Well, I did not know that. That's interesting. And are there any credits that couples could miss out on if they file separately?
Yes, many of the credits are unavailable to taxpayers who file separately. So, for instance, the earned income tax credit, the child and dependent care credit is unavailable. The Social Security income exclusion is unavailable. The education credits. There's so many of them that are no longer available once you file separately.
Can people say, like, hey, let's see what kind of return we get if we file it jointly or separately? Can they do that?
Yes, tax preparers usually have systems that will run either option for you, and you can see what's more beneficial. Usually, it's going to be the joint return.
But you said a tax professional, because a lot of people will do an online program because it's quick and easy. But in your opinion, can you get more if you pay a little bit? Like, can you pay a little bit and get much more?
Yeah, because tax professionals have more information. Like you said, the tax code is very nuanced, and there's a lot going on where a tax professional does research. They do CPE credits and stuff like that, and they know what's going on currently with the tax code.
You know, if couples are married but they want something happens throughout, can they file jointly one year but then separately the next year, or do they have to stay consistent?
There's no obligation to stay consistent year to year. So if this year it's more beneficial to file separately, you can do that, and then next year you can go back to filing jointly.
Now, I live in a state that does not have a state income tax, so for me, it's just filing federal. Yeah. But do certain states have, that you know of, now granted, you're here in New York and in New England, New York and New Jersey area, but like, are there certain states that have better returns if you file jointly or separately?
So most states require that you file, whatever you file federally, you have to file on your state return as well. So if you're filing jointly, you need to file on the state return.
You got to be consistent.
Yeah, there's a couple states that are exceptions, which is like Montana, Kentucky, some of the southern states. But for the most part, you would need to file this, so it may be beneficial to file separately on New York, for instance, versus, and then file jointly on federal, but you can't. They don't allow it. So.
But basically, it comes down to your local tax professional in whatever state you are will know the tax codes and usually can get you more.
Exactly, yes, because I feel like even like last year they had some credits available because of COVID, and a lot of people didn't know about it, but tax professionals would know about stuff like that.
I'm fascinated by this stuff, and I'm sure this is your Super Bowl time right now. So thank you, Alicia Jegede, for taking some time and explaining it to us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
This Money Watch segment has been brought to you by Edward Jones.